This is Mike and Shaun with Talking Tickets, and we're talking about the art of signed tickets and ticket restoration. Shaun, we're back.
Yeah, you got your technical difficulties worked out?
New hard drive, new modem. We're rocking and rolling now. Lightning, hopefully lightning speed.
Yeah, so far so good.
So we're talking about signed tickets. So I guess it's kind of evolved over the years where, back in the day, you used to get your ticket signed ballpoint pen at a game, and they started doing it at card shows. And now I feel like it's morphed into this whole, monster industry where now we're even having a hard time getting things signed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like a niche within the ticket collecting niche.
So, now that becomes so dang valuable, especially with tickets, I kind of see tickets as a piece of art. And a season ticket holder ticket is very artistic. And I'm very conscientious about placement of the autograph, color of the autograph, all those things to make it kind of perfect. Now, when it comes to a box office ticket, I feel like that's not really a work of art. And I feel like the focus should be more on the autograph itself. So I basically wanted to pull up basically all the tickets I had. And I was like, I kind of want to go through these and talk about some of them that I really like, things I don't think I'm thinking about getting signed, and kind of just take a quick look at those and kind of get your thoughts, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts. So let me pull these up here, share my screen. So here are a couple of tickets I don't like how they're autographed, and you'll see a ton of these. And I think the big reason why is, for me, I hate seeing them signed over a logo. And we see a lot of these. So this is the Carlton Fisk 1975 home run, Game 6. And the pop report on these is quite a bit. We're talking, let me see if I can pull this up. So here's the Game 6 Carlton Fisk. 73 items without autographs, 57 with autographs. And for those in the ticket world know that is an insane amount of autographed tickets.
Yeah.
And Shaun, I'm sure you know why there are so many, right?
Because there's a lot of those tickets and he signs a lot.
Right. So if you get guys who sign a lot, like it shows, and there's a lot of them out there, well, guess what? People see the value of getting them autographed. So people buy them up, go get them autographed, go sell them. So for this, go ahead.
I think you were going to answer my question.
So for me, I don't know how other people feel, and this is all subjective. I don't like when there's writing on. I don't like the logo, writing on the logo, especially if it's if it's a home team ticket. Like, I want to see this. I want to see World Series 75. I know you get the writing in here. It's pretty cool. But if there's like writing all junked up and there's a lot of tickets out where I can't decide, oh, I want this one, I want that one. If there's like 4 of them, like, heck, I'm going to take what I can get. Like, I'll take that all day.
Right.
But when there's 100, like 50, 60, 70 of them, I'm going to be very selective in the ones I like.
Right.
And for me personally, I like to see the autograph that doesn't cover up maybe the World Series 75. I do like the writing, even though for certain events, we'll go through my tickets. For me, this one's a little overkill. But for me personally, I'd want the name up here in blue. And ideally, I don't know if I'd want all this writing, but some people love that. And I'd kind of like to get your opinion on what you think of, the location of autographs and, the additional writings on them.
Yeah, I'm with you. If there's a good spot for it, then obviously that's where it should go. But in this case, you kind of want to see everything on the ticket, right? You want to see the World Series, you want to see the logo, you want to see Game 6. Those are the most important parts of it. You definitely want to see the seating assignment because you don't want it to maybe look like not a real ticket. So where would you put it? Where would you put it on this in a perfect world?
I think I would do it like he did up top, or possibly on the probably up top, and I'd be willing to override the game 6, even though that's
Oh,
like,
no, 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 you have to have game 6. You have to have game 6. That's the most important part.
I don't
Any
know.
other
I mean,
game, then it's nothing.
I guess it's subjective. For me, it's all visual. Like, I want to see the
Yeah.
logo. I don't want to see it written on the logo. I don't want to see it cover up all this World Series
Mhm.
75. So then you kind of have to make choices like, okay,
Yeah.
where are you going to put it? You could put it on the very bottom, which wouldn't be bad. That's
Mhm.
where I think one of our guests had a great answer about, okay, when you're trying to decide where to autograph your ticket, you can do the game where, okay, you can fake the autograph. You get one of these little sleeve and then you put it on top, right?
Yeah.
Then you sign, you sign this with the blue. You'll write, oh, Carlton Fisk on here. And this is actually a Caitlin Clark debut. So you sign it. See if I can grab a little pen. So, I look at Carlton Fisk's name and I'll write it on here. And then you place it over the ticket. And I think that's the best way to kind of figure out, like, oh, like, then you kind of match it up. Like, oh, you put the name.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward me. But if you did that, then you can kind of look, oh, this is how they autograph it. And that's what I would have done with this ticket. And that's what I kind of recommend with people to do. But the whole thing is, you can't really know exactly where the guy's going to write it unless you're pointing it to him. He does it all the right way. Sometimes it's, it just happens where it turns out great, and sometimes it doesn't turn out great.
So, to what extent do you think that that affects the value? Or are we only talking about just your personal preference?
I think right now it's just personal preference, and it's going to be very interesting how it goes in the future, because I think things evolve, right? What did they say back in the day about getting rookie cards signed?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
said,
Don't
don't
do
do it. Never get your rookie card signed. The worst thing you do to a mint rookie card is get it signed. And now what does everybody want?
Yeah.
A mint rookie card signed. So it's going to be interesting how things evolved, and some people have some opinions. Michael says, I'm a purist, no writing on a Tix. And then Justin said, that is a perfectly signed ticket for that ticket and how he signs. I think that's Justin's ticket.
Must be.
My biggest problem with autographs are sending away tickets that I have that are expensive.
Yeah. I would never do that too. That just seems like such a risk for all the reasons that you just talked about, but also just the shipping and everything like that.
Right. And I'm a purist, no writing on tickets. Oh, he already put that. That includes the autograph. But like I said, this is all subjective. This is all my opinion. But I think it's a cool ticket. I would buy one, but when there's so many of them, I want to be more subjective. But I think it's going to be just very interesting in the future how people look at autograph tickets and what makes them want to buy them.
So have you ever gotten something signed and then just be completely disappointed by what you got?
Yeah, I mean, little bit. We'll go through some of the ones I have.
Let's see
And then
'em.
there's some others I was very happy about. And other people may be like, I don't like how that looked. And I think it's going to, I don't know how things are going to play out. Like, this is another one. Like, Reggie Jackson threw, I don't want it signed over the logo, right? I'd want to put it like right here on top. For me, it's just it's the logo thing. Like, don't cover with the logo. I don't want to see.
Or below the logo, maybe.
Right. But like the Fisk one, if you're going to get all that writing, it's going to cover it up. So it's kind of you weigh, would I rather have the writing? Would I rather see the logo? All subjective.
Yeah. It's a little busy with all that writing.
But cool. It's still a cool ticket. Just my personal preference. Other ones that I have. So here's all the ones I pulled up that I have signed. And it's kind of, I think, interesting to walk through them. Some I bought them signed. Some I got signed. It's kind of all walks of life. So we'll start from basically just random start. So probably one of my most valuable ones, the Nolan Ryan debut. This is how I bought it. I'm cool with the location, cool with the color. And I'm, if it's Nolan Ryan debut, I'm not going to be really, you can't be really particular. You're going to take what you can get, right?
That's a great one.
This one, even though this covers up the writing, like, I like it. It's blue, matches the ticket. It's going to cover it up. They did the best they could. And I don't know if there's anything like really, there's no super cool logo or anything. So I was very happy with how this turned out. I think there's really clear. A lot of these have gotten signed over the years. I think it's in like the 20s or 30s now, just because they'll both sign, but Magic is a lot more expensive. Now Larry Bird pretty much will sign anything, but I think there's still a premium on certain tickets, things like that.
Yeah.
Next one. So this is one, it's a little blurry. I think I may have taken another picture of it. You can't really see it too clearly. This is where it comes in. Like I got it signed on the bottom. I think I have a better picture of this, but we'll just roll with it. It's Emmitt Smith blue on the bottom, but I wanted to get it in paint pen on the white paint pen, which would have been really cool to match it all. But they, it's when you go paint pen, you're kind of playing with fire because sometimes it gets streaky or doesn't come through sharp. So I rolled with this. I'm not in love with it, but this is where Emmitt broke the record. So kind of give you an idea. Got this one signed. Wouldn't mind it being a little lower. I like it because, Peyton Manning, Colts blue kind of covers up the Colts logo. I don't really care about the Dolphins logo. I thought it turned out really good.
That's a good spot. It's covering something that's not relevant, the Dolphins logo.
This one, so this is the Clyde Drexler debut. And a lot of people always get blue. I really liked how this turned out, but I'm kind of curious what you think. I wanted it black to match the team colors, to match the tickets. And even though it's over this guy's face, it's not Clyde Drexler. So I was like, man, I don't care. It's not Clyde Drexler. So I'm going to put it right over there. And also you have to look about how guys write, because some players write like a 5-year-old. So if they write NBA debut, it looks like a 5-year-old writing, which I don't like, but I kind of saw how he wrote. I would loved how this one turned out, but I don't know what you think about writing over a guy's face.
Right. Well, I think that, I think this turned out, the color I think is spot on because of the black, ticket. But what do you think about when they write at an angle instead of straight across like that?
I'm not a big fan of when they say Clyde Drexler wrote vertically on that. I just
or just like at an angle, so it's kind of underneath the Blazers logo.
Yeah, I don't mind that as long as if it's straight vertical. Like I said, I kind of look at these as a piece of art, especially these season tickets. So I want the ticket to be a focal point, and then the autograph to complement it, and not so much to override it. Oh, you hear my dog? It's going crazy. This was one Hulk Hogan. I thought this one turned out all right. I don't know, a ticket like this. I mean, would you rather this be a massive Hulk Hogan signature that covers it all up, or kind of below the writing? I mean, what would you think?
I think that's good. I think either way it would be fine. But this looks good and the color is good. It's, I've seen a few others of these that didn't look that great because of where he put it, or his name was this, it was not as legible. I don't know, maybe rushed. But this is a nice one.
And I feel like when it comes to box office tickets, the autograph is the focal point, just because box office tickets are boring. So, really like to see that autograph stand out. But he's got a small signature. So you kind of like, okay, well, like I said, you got to research how big their signatures can get, how small they can get,
So when you get their signature, you don't get to tell them write it big or write it small right here. Or,
I mean, you can kind of put it, you can put little, sometimes people use painter's tape, or they'll use this to kind of guide them, like, put this right here, sign right there. And if you give them a smaller spot, like Joe Montana will sign real small on his ticket, which we'll see. And other guys, I think may just be like, man, I can't fit it, and they won't do it. So, I mean, every player is different.
That's the risk.
This one I thought was a little busy. I really love this ticket. And it was interesting because, I paid, this is Roger Staubach, Drew Pearson Hail Mary game. And I basically paid him to write Hail Mary on it, which, I really like, because this Cowboys, it's not a Cowboy logo. I don't care about the Vikings. But then he wrote the date. I was like, dude, why'd you write the date? I didn't ask you to write the date. Like, sometimes you don't know what these players are going to do. But especially I love this event. I love these guys, 2 Hall of Famers, the writing on it, the blue. It's not a Cowboys logo I'm covering up. I know. What do you think about
No,
this
I think
one?
that this one looks great. Yeah, and as I'm looking at these, I feel like my bias towards the nicer ones has so much to do with the signature quality, and these
Mhm.
guys have great signatures, and the crappy signatures they don't look good no matter where you put them, in my view. But I think this looks great.
All right, so moving along. So this is the Undertaker one, basic box office version. So I guess, I may have told him to put it over to the right so you see the Survivor Series, but
Hmm.
I mean 99.99% of the people won't know what this is unless you're a wrestling fan. But I really love this ticket. I sold a duplicate that I thought undersold that Patrick Ryan bought. So I'm like, oh, if he bought it, you kind of very
That's
highly respect his opinion. But
exactly.
Undertaker's black. Some people think, oh, I got to get all my autos in blue. The way I see it, I was like, if everybody thinks of a guy as black, like Mike Tyson or Undertaker, or I don't know, whatever their colors are. So man, I want my Taker in black. And I didn't really want him to write debut. I guess I could have, but I was like, just give me that crazy ass signature. I'll take it all
Yeah,
day.
I kind of think that that when they write debut or write whatever, sometimes it's good because it kind of calls that out. But I don't think that it's necessary all the time, especially when it's obvious what it is, or in this case, it's what else would you have, or it's slabbed and you can just look at the slab and see what it is. So I think the debut or the whatever they call it is kind of overrated in my especially when it makes the ticket look so busy, like it was just all scribbled on.
Right. Here's another crazy one. I bought this from a guy. I don't know if there's another one out there. This is when the Undertaker and Mankind had their crazy match and they threw him off the top of the rope. And I was like, man, it's a box office, it's filling them both up. But if I can get both of these guys on this ticket, and that's one thing as a wrestling fan, a lot of Hulk Hogan signs everything. So people are getting tickets where events he lost. And to me, I don't want to get him autographed on an event he lost. I want to get him an event he won, unless I don't know, something with the loss was epic and it was all about him. But for this ticket, I just bought it and I was like, shoot, if I can get both guys on this, I'll take it all day, every day. Nolan Ryan. I think I bought this. This was his last strikeout.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it was cool that he wrote the K's. I was cool with that.
Hmm.
And he's got a great signature. Nolan Ryan signs everything. If you ever want to get Nolan Ryan signed, he does it through his foundation, and it's like $75 unless something has changed.
Yeah, is that what you did with this one?
I think I just bought it from a guy, actually.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought it was a decent price, and it was his last strikeout, and it's a record that'll never be broken. So I was like,
Hmm.
man, that's a cool one.
Yep.
This one is where I almost wish I would have got the little notation. This is the Derek Jeter flip play. So I wish he could have wrote the flip, and I know it's your favorite play of all time. So this is one where I think it would have come out better. I did get another one. I think I sold it on one of the auction houses. And this is when I debated, like, would you get Derek Jeter black or blue? Because I know the Yankees are black, but the blue pops more.
Yeah. Well, the ticket has black ink too. So I don't think it really matters. I know that there's a lot of other opinions about who are hardcore autograph collectors, and that's probably what matters most because they're the ones who would buy it if you're getting it for that purpose to sell it. But in my view, I don't think it matters either way.
Here's a better version of that Emmett ticket. I knew I had another one, so it kind of gives you an idea, a look at it. The Shaq one, man. This is one I bought mainly because the signature came out. I really liked it. There's others out there that have like a blue signature, but this one really popped.
Hmm.
And I thought it just looked great. And this is one I bought, like I said, based on the actual how it looked, because there's other with higher grades. But when I saw it, I was just like, oh man, that looks great. So that's the story on that one. This is an interesting one. So I bought this one, and man, I like this better, and I feel like I'm gonna be in the minority. So, right, Immaculate Reception, Franco Harris ticket. Well, look, it's not signed on the front, but it's signed on the back. And to me, I like that better, but I feel like it would go for less than one signed on the front that would cover the
Yeah.
logo.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
But in this case, and I think that this is your point, was that this ticket is so hard to find that where the entire logo is visible. And so here's one of those copies, and you wouldn't want to ruin it by having somebody write on it, even if it is Franco Harris, you know? So yeah, I'm not big on the autograph being on the back, but I like the aesthetic of this one on the front enough to not want any writing on it at all.
I think
So
I bet it would look really cool on the front top. I think that would be really, really
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
But,
I'm sure.
yeah, that's a good example of a guy, he'll make it small, and that probably would have fit on that front. Be a little tough, may have covered that up. So, I think Howard, one time I said about getting the ticket signed, he thought I'd be a moron if I got it signed on the
Yeah,
back. But I'm
yeah,
like, damn
Howard's
it,
not big on
I
that.
like it. I like it on the back sometimes. I have another one on the back. Uh, and Justin said, I have autographs on the back. Rather not have an autograph. Rather hate. I don't know what
He
he would.
hates autographs on the back. I did not have a autograph at all.
Justin's not liking this show tonight. This is one I don't know. I didn't want to cover this one up. This was the Robin Ventura one.
Mhm.
I probably, in hindsight, may have got it signed on the front diagonal right here. I did not want to cover this up. The Rangers logo, the date of the event, White Sox, it's Robin Ventura. I got it
Yeah.
signed on the back. I don't know. I kind of wanted to do it. I really liked how the front looked.
Yeah, I think the front would have been better on this one.
So I
Get
was
it.
kind of testing it out. So, F me, oh well. It's my ticket. I don't even have it graded. I'm never gonna sell it. So it is what it is. This is one I bought, and it's so crazy. It's kind of like the Fisk one, but I'm like, I don't care. Do you recognize this one?
Yeah, that's the Sid Bream slide, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it has both of them on there. And I don't know if I've seen that before. And I was like,
Oh, Cabrera?
basically, yeah,
Cabrera's
Cabrera's
on
right
there
here
too?
on the bottom,
Oh, wow.
and Sid's on
Okay.
the top. And
See, I think that's really cool just because it's such a historic moment, and I remember it so well, when I was, like, 14 years old or something, but it's pretty busy. When you first glance at it, it's just there's a lot to try to figure out,
right.
and that's the issue with it, but, uh, having both of those guys, I've definitely never seen that before. I didn't even know that Francisco Cabrera signs.
Yeah, like if I was to do this ticket, I would probably get Sid Bream up top, or maybe Cabrera up top and Sid Bream on the bottom, and then the slide
Mhm.
written somewhere. So all of this right here would be shown, and this stuff on the bottom and top would be covered up.
Yeah.
This is my Dirk one. The Game 6 championship. I think this is the only one out there. There's like two of them. Thank you, Justin, for that one. I got
Yeah,
him
Justin's
signed, and
gonna
I was
start
like,
looking the
man,
show now.
what's
You got
that? So I just got it right on the front. I was like, I want Dirk real big right there. I'll be able to see the game through. I don't want it to the side. It's all about Dirk's championship and the Mavs. So that's how I did that one.
Mhm. Mhm.
This was an interesting one because I initially bought this with Brady signed, and I had some pretty big balls. I sent this one out to get Bledsoe to sign it in the same gray to match it. I didn't want to do the different colors.
Hmm.
It came out all right. This stuff it's not actually on the ticket, this covering of it. It's on the plastic.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I want to do same colors. Where's the location? Brady and Bledsoe would be super awesome. Then I was like, well, should I not get Bledsoe because Brady's so the GOAT? Would it mess up the ticket? So, man, I shipped this thing off, crossing my fingers, praying they'd get it back to me. And it came back, and I'll say I don't love it, but it's so unique that I'm not going to complain. And it's a full ticket. It's very, very rare.
Yeah, it's kinda hard to see. You just
Yeah,
need
so the
some
gray,
close.
it's a little gray is a little darker than the other gray. I mean, this was signed God knows how long ago. Then this was signed like last year.
Yeah.
So, but it kind of looks all nasty because the plastic on the outside is dirty.
Cool ticket, though.
I think I'm gonna get it signed at the National. I don't want to ship it out to PSA.
Get it graded.
I really like this one. This is Moss's debut, which is really hard to find.
Mhm.
And I really debated, like, where should I write it and what color? And I was like, man, I want to do purple. Vikings purple. Got the Vikings purple, maybe blue, but I love how it matched the Vikings. It's just right there in the middle. You see all the writing, only covers verse. Like, I was really happy how that one turned out.
Yeah, it'd be nicer if he had a better signature, though.
It's not too bad
That's
considering.
not too bad. Where's the M? It's an R with a couple of loops.
I probably could have got debut. Maybe right here would have been really cool.
Yeah.
NFL debut. But oh well. Like I said, you never know. This is another Nolan Ryan fight ticket. I got this one on the front because it was box office. I saw another one. I think it was Patrick Ryan it said "Don't mess with Texas" in quotation marks, written by him, which was really cool.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I hate about it is like you don't really know what it is. But sometimes when you do write the little notation, you do.
Yeah, that's a good example of one that looks box office right in the middle on the front. The autograph is the focal point right there. Because otherwise it's a really kind of plain, boring ticket.
Yeah, and I really like box office tickets signed. I mean, I'll take almost any box office ticket to get signed. But some season ticket holder versions, I'm not 100% sure about. I've seen that one. This is one I love the writing on it. Man, I almost bought this ticket. This one went for a lot. This is the Christian Laettner, The Shot. This is like a perfect autograph ticket to me. The auto, I know it's crazy. You can't recognize Laettner's, but this is what his auto. And you got 32, The Shot below it. It's blue, Duke blue, matches the blue on the ticket. Man, I love this ticket. I don't own this one, but I just kind of brought it up to show a great example of one that I think looks great.
Yeah, another box office.
This is kind of a wild ass one. This is the Bret Hitman Hart, the Montreal screw job. I got it in pink because Bret Hart's pink. Could have got it in blue or something else. Just kind of a personal one for me. I know you have no idea what this,
but it's kind of hard to read that way too.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It's kind of hard to read because it's a little, it's pink is so light. In hindsight, I might have done it like in blue, but since the Hitman was so known for his color pink, I did it that way. This was like another example of what somebody did. The Montreal screw job. It just gets kind of so crazy with all the writing. But this is Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. This isn't mine, but this is like another example I brought up. Like, to you, is this too much, or is it like, man, if you're going to get all of them, get all of them?
Too much. This is so. I think that there's a point at which it goes from being a ticket to an autograph that happens to be on a ticket, right? And this has gone past that. This is just a bunch of autograph nonsense, and it happens to be on a ticket, where the ticket is not even anything relevant in this. And I think that a lot of times you see that where it's just there's so much writing that it kind of takes away from the ticket completely.
Yeah, that's kind of why I want get your opinion. That's kind of how I feel. Sometimes it just gets so damn busy. This is one that I got signed, and I know the Montana the catch, and I'm like, I want it up here. I don't want it covering the logo and this down here, and it gets all like not clean. A lot of people like to get it down here. I got mine up here, and this is where Montana will sign real small. I mean, this is a small ticket. But I was pretty happy how this came out. This one is another one I wouldn't mind getting on the back, even though people would say that's heresy. But I got this one on the front, so I thought it looks good. This is an example of one on where they get it down below, which I don't like. Like, what's your opinion? Are you more
this is one of those examples of I think I would prefer it diagonal from where the helmet kind of in that little space. I kind of like the diagonal signatures because they conflict or they kind of contrast with the writing on the ticket.
Right.
So that there's a signature there and it's not just somebody wrote something or something. I guess that's my opinion on that. I
think in hindsight, I would get it diagonal right here. I think that would probably, because this is all just nonsense. Like, it's just not that important. It's not that relevant.
Right.
Here's one I got part of the trade with Justin. It's a full ticket. It's pretty rare. I mean, if you could have got Montana up here and Dwight Clark on the bottom, that would have been freaking epic. But I think there may be like one of those out there.
I think so, yeah.
That is all of mine. So here are ones I'm debating getting signed. I want to get your opinion, and ones I haven't. A couple of these are monsters. Pull these up. Some I'm debating, some I'm going to, some just want to get your opinion on. The Flutie one. This is the Flutie game, and it's like, man, I love this ticket. I love how it looks. If you were to get this signed, how would you get it signed?
I think across the blue, but in paint pen.
And I think that is what Howard said. If you did it right here in white in the blue, would be
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah. But I mean, that again, we just like we talked about, there's so much risk involved in that. And I know I wouldn't take that risk, but
It is a really nice one. I think this is one of the best ones out there. So it's always hard to crack a ticket that's one of the best. And like, here's one. This is Brett Favre's father's death. Like, man, I don't know, but where I would want to get this one signed. So this is one I've been debating. It's kind of like, oh, I go blue up top or blue on the bottom. I mean, you could go right here, but then it's got all this black background and stuff
yeah,
going on. It has the Raiders logo, doesn't have the Packer logo.
yeah.
So that's one I've.
So maybe below the Packers.
I think about maybe down here, down up top. This one I'm definitely like to. It's the Mike Tyson Buster Douglas fight.
Yeah, this is a tough decision. It doesn't matter where you put it, right? Because who knows what you're covering up. But what color and where so it pops? I guess right in the middle, right?
Yeah, I think I'd just get them both blue, just because it would pop more.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Douglas. With Tyson though, you got to pay him an arm and a leg to get a ticket. He won't do it, but if you pay him enough, I think he will, or I know he will. And then Buster Douglas is like $35, so it's one of those things, and it's so hard to find him to sign. But this is one, it's box officey. Get them both signed. The focus is on the autos, because right now you look at this, you have no freaking idea what it is.
So who would you get first? Or does
I'd want to get I'd want to get Buster's first, but already have an agreement in place with Fitterman to get Tyson's autograph, so I could just knock them out back to back. So I wouldn't want one or the other.
So what if Tyson just signs it right in the middle?
I think you can direct it. You put a little painter's tape that covers so he won't sign on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
This is one I've hardcore debate. I'd like some comments from people that are watching. So this is WrestleMania 1 full, which is insanely rare and insanely valuable. And to me, Hogan was not the focal point. He was in a tag team match with like Cyndi Lauper, and it was kind of ridiculous. But this is, to me, this is all about WrestleMania 1s. It's about the first minutes of WrestleMania. It's not about Hulk Hogan, but I know it would make it more valuable. Yeah. But to me, I don't want Hogan's ticket. It's my ticket. I'm not going to sell it ever.
Why not get Cyndi Lauper?
But some people would say you got to get it signed. It'll way increase the value. But to me, this is all about the event itself.
Well, I think you answer your own question then. Yeah, don't get it signed.
I'm kind of curious what people.
What's the grade on this? Is it like a 6?
No, I think it's like a 3 or 4. There's a real light crease that you can't see in the picture.
Yeah. In my view, no signature, leave it as is. And partly because Hogan is so common of a signature that it doesn't really do much for it. If Hogan was a tough signature to get, like Mike Tyson or something, and it costs a lot and whatever, then it might bring up the value some, just because it adds to the scarcity of it. But it's scarce enough as it is.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where conclusion I've come to.
Cyndi Lauper, on the other hand, that would be a game changer. Or who else? Was there anybody else there?
I can't remember. I'm not gonna lie. I've never seen WrestleMania 1. I can't remember if Mr. T. I think he was in it. I don't want to quote me on that one. Just said Hulk Hogan has the worst autograph in sports. So I guess I was already on the I'm not going to do it. So thanks for confirming I'm not getting Hogan on that.
Yeah, good.
This is one I talked about. Hogan lost this match. I haven't got it signed. Warrior won. Like, I know it would increase the value, but to me, I don't want to get where he lost the match. It's like, great, he lost, but everybody gets this signed by Hogan. But I'm not. I'm leaving it as is. It's a full, and I love that ticket. This is one I have. This is a Gale Sayers 6TD one, and another guy got it signed, and I kind of like mine better, even though I know it's way. I mean, freaking Gale Sayers, he's passed. So, sometimes I think they look better without the autograph, but this kind of shows you what are you into, man? You into getting it autoed and probably making it more valuable, or getting it, or having one? Because I had the option to buy this. I was like, oh, I could buy this one and then sell this one, but I was like, man, I like this one. This is mine. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah, this one's way better in my view. Partly because it has an actual seating assignment. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
It's maybe standing room, because I don't, or maybe back then they had general admission.
Yeah, I think probably my guess probably general admission. Yeah, grandstand, standing.
Yeah,
room.
grandstand. First come, first serve. That's weird.
And then this is a great example. Like, of course, Mookie Wilson, Bill Buckner, I would freaking take this ticket any day of the week. So it kind of gives you an idea. This is very rare. But man, I love the way this ticket looks. And I hate for an autograph to cover things up, but it's like, good night. If you could get both of these guys on it, such an awesome ticket where I really wouldn't care if that covered the logo. This is one that's for like, okay, this is a good, I would like get your opinion. So this is my ticket. It's a full. You can get a Rudy to sign it like right here, which looks pretty good. Full's pretty rare. It's one of the highest, but then it's like, man, Rudiger is like, I hate to say it, it's like, it's not like a name. I mean, he was the guy from the movie. It's more about, the movie and the event. Like, would you get this signed right here by Rudy, or would you?
Well, so it's kind of like the Christian Laettner thing, right? Where Christian Laettner is not a great historic basketball player. But he was on the dream team, but that's about it. Right. But he had one great moment that everybody remembers, and you get him to sign it. Rudy is the same sort of thing, but but I'm with you. I don't think that it's especially this one, because what is that, like a 8? That looks,
it's a 7. That's the other part of it.
That's like, I wouldn't mess with that. If you really want a Rudy autograph, I would find a Stub and get that signed. But this is pretty epic. This one I haven't seen one this nice before.
All right. Well, thanks for your hot opinions. Give me more, makes me feel better about my thought process on the
I mean, it seems like a lot of it has to do with the risk involved in getting it signed, and you have to crack it out. You have to send it through the mail to whoever, or maybe you can get it in person. I don't know, but you have to travel to there, and then you have to go back and send it back to PSA and get it reslabbed, and all the cost involved. I don't know that that's worth it for a Rudy.
Yeah, I think for something like that, you would really want it. I think you would need to get it done in person, because logistically, like, of course, 99% of the time you're going to be fine. But man, that 5% would be horrific.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some restorations. And Shaun is the restoration expert. And, he sent me some tickets that had some restoration to them. And, there was an article about a guy who was restoring cards.
Yeah.
And it was in the collect.com site. Well, he basically was getting, give us some info about all that.
So it was a couple of weeks ago. I guess his name's Kurt's Card Care. And so in the card world, if you I think there's a little bit of controversy with cleaning cards. So, for example, the more modern cards, maybe get a thumbprint on them or something. You clean it just with nylon or whatever. Send it in to get it graded. But then it goes a little further. You have this, this product that he sells, and it has some wax, and you can shine them up. But then you get a little bit older, some of the older cards, and then there becomes this debate over whether or not this is okay. And his point of view is basically that everybody does it. everybody cleans their card, even if it is just wiping some smudge off before you send it in. And so then I guess his product, he posted a video of him taking a stain off of 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson card. And PSA saw this, they decertified the card, and there's this big debate over whether or not that's okay to do. And so whenever I see this kind of thing, it always gets me thinking in terms of tickets, because how does that play in the ticket world versus cards? And so I'm not an expert at all, but I've done some, removing of paper back, and I've removed some of the laminate on tickets. It's kind of hit and miss whether that works, and the glue staining and stuff like that. So, I really feel like tickets are different than cards. And I think there's a number of reasons behind that. One is because a lot of them are, stuck to scrapbooks at some point in their history, so they have to get removed. And I think that's more widely accepted. So, I mean, what do you think? Where's the line with restoring tickets compared to cards?
I think for card wise, I think people get a little overboard about being so anti restoration. I mean, hell, the finest paintings in the world are restored by, current artists to make them look better. Now, I'm not saying they should be able to do that and get graded and have the same grade, but I think you should definitely be able to clean your card and get a stain off a card. Now, trimming, I don't think so. Things like that. But to make it look good, that's not really affecting the card itself, I think is okay. But when it comes to tickets, I think there's definitely more leeway. And I feel like you should definitely be able to have a little more leeway with PSA and these grading companies to, I guess clean it up a little bit, because it is a little different. It has been through the ringer. I mean, it was basically, that's what it was. It was something that was in people's pockets and thrown on the ground and drawers and things like that.
For me, I think what it comes down to, I was thinking about this the other day, where to me, a ticket is a historic document. A card is a mass-produced product. And to me, that's the difference, because an archivist, their job is to restore kind of historic documents, right? Like at the National Archive or wherever. And so there's a lot of processes to do that. And they are open about it, and they have, it's not frowned upon in any way, but that's what they do. And the purpose of it is to maintain it for future generations to enjoy. And that same kind of mentality for paintings. But when it's a mass-produced item, I guess, with cards specifically, there's literally thousands of 52 mantles. And the difference between them is the condition that they're in. And that's obviously the value difference. And so that matters a lot. But with tickets, I'm not sure that anybody ever removes the paper from the back to try to get a better grade. I think it's just eye appeal. And the difference is eye appeal. You want to improve the eye appeal, right?
Right.
So it's like, if there's tape on it, if there's a massive stain, if there's glue, if there's a staple in it, I guess there is a line that you can draw between what is okay and isn't okay with tickets, right? Like if you went and tried to add color to a ticket because there was some, missing part of it and you wanted to redraw that in, that's not okay. If you wanted to add, or if you wanted to rebuild a corner or rebuild an edge because it was all frayed, that's probably not okay, right? Trimming an edge, so this gets into another debate about trimming the bottom of a ticket. And I don't know if you've ever seen, so this is an example. It's torn, but some people just cut the bottom, or they have in the past. And my personal view on that is that I would never do that. And I don't think that should ever be done, because I like the tear. I think that it makes it look like an authentic ticket.
Right.
I think it looks weird when it's cut straight across, but because this is happening and because people do this, I guess PSA now they changed their policy. So if something is cut across the bottom, then they call it altered and authentic, but
Mhm.
they list it as altered,
Right.
which I don't, the word altered has such a negative connotation, and in the card world, that's a real poison pill if it's altered.
Right.
And PSA is known for cards, so then of course with tickets, people just assume that even though it's not that big of a deal if it was cut across the bottom, because at some point in history, maybe somebody just didn't like the looks of it because it had tear on it, so they cut it, and that happens with a lot of vintage tickets.
Yeah, I don't like that either when they put the altered because it has such a negative connotation. I feel like it. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is. How they
Yeah,
should motivate it.
in my view, it should just be authentic only. If somebody cut it, then just make it authentic only. Don't put a grade on it. That would discourage them from doing it. It would eliminate the idea that they could do that to try and get a better grade, which I guess is the only motive, other than just eye appeal.
Mhm.
But wouldn't you agree that trying to improve eye appeal is different than trying to improve a grade? Like
Right.
I could if I had a PSA 2 and improving the eye appeal meant it going down to authentic, I'd be fine with that
Mhm.
because I just want it to look better,
Right. Right.
present better. So I don't think that ticket collectors are necessarily driven to get a better grade when they're doing whatever to restore it to make it look better, whatever.
Right. I
But
guess unless you're in the market of trying to sell a ticket, then of course it's all about the grade.
yeah, or the eye appeal too, I
Right.
guess. Yeah, I mean, a ticket that is not stuck to a paper scrapbook is going to sell for more than if it is, but
Mhm.
it's pretty routine. And so I've done it a lot, and I've done it for high end collectors. So I know that in general, the collecting community says that it's okay as far as removing the ticket from the back, and of course. Uh, Patrick Ryan just announced last week that he did exactly that with his Jackie Robinson debut. Had it done professionally, which I absolutely think was the right thing to do, and I
Yeah,
would have done the
let's
same thing.
look at that. Like, I was pretty blown away by this, and those who hadn't seen this, to me, I couldn't believe how better it looked. And when this ticket went on sale, I mean, this was a what $200,000 ticket.
Yeah, 230, I think.
So this is the ticket. This is the back of the ticket. Came from a scrapbook, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can tell that they just cut it out of the scrapbook.
Right. So it's black. It's blank. And to me, I was like, man, I can't believe scrapbook one went for 200,000. Looks great. Like great looking debut ticket. What auction house did this go? Do you remember?
I think it was SCP.
A CP. $200,000 plus sale. He bought it like that. Um, and then the back, of course, was like this. Then he came out and made this video, and look how good it looks now. It's like, man, if you know the industry, you know the game, you know the right people. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look how nice that looks. I mean, he probably added how much in value by paying somebody to clean the back, like 20,
yeah,
50,
yeah,
maybe upwards of
50,000.
100. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
dang.
that's and so getting back to the process, there's a number of different processes to do that, and I'm sure that whoever he went through is a professional, and he probably paid a fair amount to have it done because they're messing with something that's worth $250,000.
Right.
So you have to be careful, obviously.
You're saying he didn't ship it to you and have you work on it and ship it back?
No, I definitely didn't. And yeah. So I actually have the very first one that I ever did right here, and this is quite a valuable ticket. This is uh, the game 57 in Joe DiMaggio's streak, the game where the streak ended.
Mhm.
And so when I bought this on eBay probably in 2008, 9, maybe,
Wow.
really long time
What
ago.
was the price on that?
It was $1,500,
Oh,
which
wow.
at that time was a lot of money. It made
Yeah.
and it was attached to a full piece of paper, and so at that point, I had no idea how to do this, and I had a friend of a friend who was a archivist, a conservationist, and I asked her. I just got some tips from her, and she kind of walked me through the process. And so I did it myself. This was the first one that I ever did, and it turned out really good.
Yeah, to
So
me, it just blows me away, like how it takes it off and makes it look so freaking good.
yeah. So my thought at the time was I just want to be able to read whatever's on the back.
Right.
And so I've done this quite a bit, and I've learned that, at least from my perspective, I don't know, there might be other people out there who know how to do it better than I do, but there's it really depends on the glue that's on the back, what era the glue is from, and how much glue there is, and what kind of paper it is. So there's a lot of variables, and there's a lot of different processes that you can use to try and get it off. And then it's so I have varying levels of success on it. I'm not good enough to where I can guarantee that I can get it off. Like, I did one for you, and it was kind of like, nah, not that great. Maybe
Mhm.
better than nothing, but it
Right, right.
wasn't one of my best ones. But it was because the glue was just so strong, and somebody had already like cut a little bit into it, which cut up the paper, and that makes it really difficult um, without removing paper. So I don't know. There's a lot of different variables, and I've done it quite a bit, and I'm getting better at it as I go because I develop new processes. But I I guess the question becomes, at what point does it become frowned upon to do something like that? Not remove the back. Obviously, removing the back's fine, but then you have the glue. Removing the glue, you would think that that would be okay, but then you have the glue stain, and removing a stain is a lot more in-depth process. You have to use solvents and all of that. So then you're getting to that point where, if you do all of that, you're probably going to alter the entire ticket to make it go back to how it looked when it left the stadium 70 years ago or whatever. And does that cross the line?
Yeah, it's getting to be a real gray area. I don't know if I have the answer, but I feel like the standard has been set now. If you get the most valuable ticket, one of the most valuable tickets in the world, and have it worked on, and PSA basically, Justin asked, did PSA give it a grade now? Because that would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
started out as
it
a
did.
authentic, and now it's a 2, which ties the highest. Wait, is it 2 the
No,
highest?
there's a
Oh,
three,
there's a
which
3.
which he also bought. So
Right, he has that one, and that one actually looks better than the one he has. That's a 3. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, I think you can't. There's no going back now. Like, you could take anything off because you basically, hey, you freaking took it to a Jackie debut and got it regraded by PSA, and
yeah.
and they green lighted it.
Well, with cards, and this is something that Signed and Slabbed pointed out in a video I watched him talking about with the card world, and it's so true that their first ever graded card, the Wagner T206, that's a PSA 8, has been revealed as trimmed, but it's not decertified. So until and they don't really have a ton of credibility in that world unless they decertify
Right.
that card, because it
And they
is
do
trimmed
what's convenient, easiest, convenient, and most profitable. Though that
and
kind of
not
some kind of
controversial. Yeah,
combination. The other people had some opinions about, it added 50K value, and he says probably spent 5 grand to get that fixed. I wonder what that'd be a good question, how much he spent. Then he says, I bet P Ryan got PSA permission to go through whatever company he used. And they said graphic conversation company out of Chicago does amazing work.
yeah,
Interesting. I have
yeah.
these items up you sent me. Did you want to touch on some of
Sure.
it?
Yeah, these are just things that I did. This is where I actually removed tape on the sides. You can see on the left it has a piece of tape on, um, and then tape on the right. And so
Mhm.
the ticket on the right, you can still see the tape stain, but there's no tape anymore.
Yeah,
Which,
looks
yeah, that was pretty good. And this is
this one.
just a laminated ticket that I took it off, and yeah, that I was just practicing. No significance to any of these tickets. They're just practice, but I was able to remove the laminate from this.
Interesting. How do you do that?
It's you soak it in a solvent basically, and then it peels off. Sometimes it's not, but again, this is not. There's a lot more to it than just doing that, and a lot of times it doesn't work. So do not go and try this unless you practice a lot on just crap tickets that don't have any value. Because I've ruined plenty. Yeah, this is another one that I
Another laminate.
laminated.
Dang, putting in work. Oh, here's a good one.
Yeah, this is one that this is actually a good ticket. This was Duke Snyder's first home run, but I bought it like that. It was slabbed, and I didn't like that there's a big piece of paper on the back, so I removed it. And one of the things you'd never know is what is underneath it. So you could get more paper loss. There was some paper loss underneath it, but you could already tell that there was paper loss. But it turned out a lot better than it was, so I was happy with it.
Well, it was some mighty fine work on your end.
Yeah. Well, have anything? I'm always looking for new projects, but nothing that's I've turned down a lot of opportunities just because it's too risky, and I don't want to ruin somebody's ticket that means something to them. But most of the time, I would never go past where it was too risky. You get to a point where, okay, I don't know if this is going to work or not. Then I would stop, unless it was mine. If it was somebody else's, then I would just stop and say, this is the best I can do, which usually isn't that great, but
So everybody send all your tickets to Shaun to get worked on.
Now send them to whoever P. Ryan got. That's a professional.
That guy earned his money that day.
Yeah.
I had some pickups, actually some pretty big ones. I haven't really bought too much lately, but then I feel like in the last month I've bought some big ones, and then one I've been looking for forever. So let me grab these. So I bought this on an auction. I've been wanting one of these for a while. I just think it looks super cool and it's historic. So this is the Disneyland first ticket.
Nice.
And there's different versions of this. There's a gold version and a green version. The gold one's at $230 also, but it's like they gave it to more insiders or people who worked at the company, but it has like a line on the bottom and they write their name in it. And I just love how the silver looks. They both have the $230 start, which was basically the first time to get in. So I bought this on auction the other day, which is kind of a random, and it came with the parking pass. And there's another version of the parking pass that went for an insane amount. I don't understand why. I think it was the gold parking pass. And it went for like twice what the ticket went for. So I'm not like an expert on Disneyland. I did some research, but for me, it was just like, man, I really wanted one. It's been a while since I've seen one. So I kind of put my last.
Get Mickey Mouse to sign that.
And this is one I've kind of always said was too expensive for what I wanted to pay, but somebody posted it on Boogers the other day. And this was the Black Power Salute ticket. And I thought it looked great. I thought the eye appeal and everything was great. I thought the price was fair. For me, it's kind of a combo of one I've wanted, but also one that's like a good store of value. But, I go to the National and set up a table, and this is one I could resell. I could trade. I may just keep it. But it's kind of one of those things, since I do a lot of buying and selling and trading, I'm like, man, this is a good one to have because I know it's one that's in demand. It's one I like. I may not keep forever. So sometimes I think about that when I'm buying stuff. Like, oh, I'm going to the National. I know this is one could be popular.
Are you setting up?
Yeah.
Talking about that?
Yeah, plan on setting up.
You should have at your booth get like full color photos of a lot of the significance ones that are just a photo like that, and just put it behind it so that it just pops like what it is right away to the average everyday person.
Yeah, I guess if I have enough space, it's just hard because when you're limited on space and you're trying to fill up your case. But I guess if you could make it where it would be behind it and you could kind of see it and be like,
just lay it on top of it.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of those, it would be significant, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just wonder if I'm going to be lazy or not and do that.
Yeah.
This is one I got, And if you get this, I'll be shocked. So there's no way you'll know what this is. It was against your Seahawks, actually.
89? Is that the first Icky shuffle?
I'm going to play this video. I'm not 100% sure how the audio will come through, but if it doesn't play audio, just put your hand up and let me know. But I'm going to play this video and see if you recognize it.
The next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, and get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Do you know that moment?
No, I don't.
So basically, the story behind that is weeks before, people were throwing snowballs in the field and it interrupted a game, and the league got a memo being like, hey, we got to put a stop to this. So they were in Cincinnati, and the fans started throwing stuff on the field, and they had to stop the game. So Sam Weish, the coach, got on the microphone, and he's like, well, he told the ref, I got to get these guys to stop because this is a problem. Of course, Cleveland's their rival, and they're throw dog bones and everything else. And he got on there and said, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati, and became this big, like, rallying cry. And I remember watching it as a kid, and I didn't understand why were people going crazy about this. I was like, oh, he was totally trashing the city of Cleveland, which was their rival. And then they got everybody all fired up and became like this big thing, like a viral moment before things got viral. But I've been looking for that ticket for years, and it finally popped up in some kind of auction with all these Bengals items. That came with 2 of them. I was like, oh my gosh, just like, I got the you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati ticket.
Great. Yeah, that's a great feeling when you're looking for something like that and forever, and all of a sudden you see it in some random auction, and
I think it was like, bought for like $40 or something, and it had like an old Bengals cup and a Bengals, it's like some package thing. But that's kind of like reminding me the fun of this hobby. It's such a treasure hunt that you can find really cool things that people may not care, that nobody knows. There's just like something really cool. In an item at a sale.
Every day stuff like that. Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, that's all my stuff. I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to go over.
I haven't picked up anything recently, so I don't have anything to share.
Man, we got to get on it. No 47s.
Yeah. Oh, I got a couple of those, but those in that REA auction. But that's not that exciting. I don't think anybody's going to be excited to see those.
I don't know, man. If you get pretty close to that end, I think people are going to get pretty interested. If you got,
I'm at 35. I'm at 35%. So
that's something.
Which is over 50 tickets.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
That's good. Well, all right. I guess that's it for tonight. Thanks for all the people who stuck through all the ticket showings and all the fun. Hopefully we can do something maybe next week or the week after.
Cool. Good show.
All right, good show. Everybody watch those Mavericks tomorrow night. I know we got beat up on Tuesday, but we're coming back. We're going to rebound, tie that series up. Make sure you're watching, Shaun. Root for them.
I had no idea it was even playoffs.
Oh, my gosh. You're locked into the Mariners right now.
Yeah,
you got time for any playoff basketball. Well, all right, guys. Everybody take care. Follow us on YouTube, all that fun stuff. And I'll probably see you in a week or two. Have a good one.